Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from eLearning Portal. This is a must-see video tutorial on Moodle plugins installation. In this video, I focus on installing plugins not only to gamify your Moodle courses, but also to include analytics, as well as reporting and completion progress within your Moodle courses. You can use all these features in developing a Moodle course template. So let's jump right in and I'll show you how this is done. So let's start by adding some blocks. So let's turn editing on. Okay, so once editing is on, now we can add some blocks, but first we need to install the blocks. Okay, so first we're going to install something called completion tracking. So we'll type in here completion, and I'll put all the links in the description of all the plugins that I'm going to show you now. Okay, so let's click on search and you'll see here completion progress. This is a block. So let's open this and we can download it. You'll see it's downloaded there. Go back to our Moodle site, click on site administration, and where can you find site administration? We can close this and click on site administration here. Go to plugins and then install plugins. Drag the completion progress in your file area where you can drop it and click install plugin from the zipped file. So let's install this plugin. Scroll down and click on continue. And then we can upgrade Moodle database. Now you'll see there's the completion progress and it's a block. Okay, so let's upgrade Moodle database now. And let's click on continue. We can leave everything on its default, scroll down and click on save changes. Okay, so there the block is installed. Let's go back to our course. So I'll click on site administration, courses, manage courses. I'll click on course templates and there's my course. I'll click on it once and then scroll down and click on view. Okay, so there's my course and my first block. I can add my first block. So by expanding this drawer, I can click on add block and then scroll down to where I see completion progress. I click on it and it will add my completion progress here. Since I don't have any activities, it will show nothing. But remember, we're building a template. Okay, so that was my completion progress. My next plugin will be level up. Level up, and this is some sort of gamification within my courses. So you'll see there's level up XP availability, and level up XP enrollment. We only need the one that says gamification. Okay, if you want to use it for available features in your course or for course enrollment, you can install these two, but I'll only focus on this one. So I will install this, download it. It's downloaded there. Go to my site again, go to site administration, click on plugins and then click on install plugins. I'll drag this and then I'll click on install plugins from zip file. I'll go through the installation process, scroll down and click on continue. Okay, so there it's installed. Click on continue. Okay, so I'll leave it on in courses. I'll keep logs for 3 days. You can increase the days, or I'll click on share usage report occasionally or never. Okay, I'll scroll down. I'll leave everything on its default. Scroll down and I can even change the name there, but I'll leave it for now. And I'll click on save changes. Okay, so now it's installed, but it should be made available within the course. So I'll go back to my course manage courses in my category, and then click on my course, and then click on view. Okay, so here's my course, but I need to add the block. Remember, I already have one block. Now I click on add a block. I'll search for the level up XP, and there's my level up. Remember this, every time a student attempts a quiz or an assignment or opens a video, watches a video, you can set this up to actually provide students with some sort of marking or point system, and you can actually see the leaderboard of where the students are holding. So there are various levels that the student can achieve. I think it's up till 10, yes, 10 levels. And each time a student obtains marks, you will move up a level. So 120 points, and you can also set these point systems yourself, and you can change the names. So to move from level 1 to level 2, he needs 120 points, and so forth and so forth. Okay, but you can set this up, and we'll cover that once we delve deeper into the course. Okay, so that's the level up. Okay, so now we have 2 blocks here. The next thing we're going to add is also some sort of gamification, and we call this the game block. So I'll go to site administration again, plugins, and this time I'll go to my plugins directory and type in game and click on search, and we'll be looking for this game, the block game. So I'll open that, I'll download it, and this also provides students with points, but this is more on a higher level than the level up. So here you'll see there's different rewards that students can obtain, and it's really visually appealing to the students. So for level 5, level 4, level 3, and you can modify this and actually customize it to your own liking. You'll see here, this is how it will display within your course, and you'll see there's the points and the ranking. You can go through the settings, and you can see all your students, the courses, as well as the levels, as well as the activities and the modules. But you can go through the settings, and I'll take you through the settings once we're done. Okay, so let's install the plugin. Let's drag it in the drop zone here, and click on install plugins from zip file, continue. And then let's continue here too. Scroll down and upgrade Moodle database now. Okay, so let's click on continue. And then we can leave everything on its default. We'll delve into this deeper at a later stage when we set up the specific course. Okay, so there it's installed. Let's go to courses, manage courses, and then our template, and then view. Okay, so now we have 2 blocks. Let's add the next one, and this one is called games. Okay, so it's G, there we go, it's game, and there it adds the game block. Okay, so we can modify it. Each of these blocks can be modified by clicking on the gear icon and then clicking on configure completion progress, or configure any one of the blocks. And here you can state where order bar, should it be by completed on a date or ordering in a course, how to present the long bar, should it be squeezed or scrolled or wrapped. Okay, use icons, yes or no, you can state yes, and then show percentage to students, you can say yes. Okay, where should the block appear within this course, should it be on the left, and what type of weighting should it be. Okay, and that's usually the border around it. And then on this page also, should it be visible, should it be on the left or the right, and what type of weighting. And once you're done, you can click on save changes, and it will adopt that settings. The same for the level up, you can configure it. Here you can say, okay, I want to display on page types. So what type of pages do you want to display it? the default region, so is it on the left or is it on the right, and the default weight. Okay, again here on this page the same. So you can really modify each of the blocks by clicking on the gear icon and then going into the settings of that particular block. Here you can specify the levels, the score levels that students can obtain, as well as the completion points. So here's one. So you can set these points for completing certain the score section completion. Okay, and it goes on and on. You can click on Save Changes. Okay, so the next plugin we're going to install is the checklist. So in the search bar, type in checklist. Click on search. And here you'll see there are two. We'll install this one. And this is a module within your course, and this can actually assist you in providing some sort of completion also. It works with the completion tracking, so you can actually see which activities are completed and which are still outstanding. So we'll download that, and then we'll install it by going to Site Administration again, clicking on Plugins, and then Install Plugins, and then dragging this to the upload area here, and then clicking on Install. Click on Continue on this screen, and then scroll down and click on Continue. Okay, so once this is done, click on Upgrade Moodle Database Now, and then click on Continue. Okay, so let's scroll down and save changes. Leave everything on its default. Again, we can go to Courses, Manage Courses and Categories, click on our course template, and then on our course, click on View. And once we're here, okay, so now we need to add this. This is a module, so we can actually use add an activity or resource for that, okay? And later on, I'll show you within this video how we can structure this to make it more appealing. Okay, so let's click on add an activity or resource. Then the module that we've just installed was the checklist. Okay, so it will be under C. So there you'll see there it is. So let's click on it. We can now type in a name. So let's call this checklist just for this video. Checklist. Okay, I can scroll down. I can provide an introduction here. I can set users can add their own items. No, I don't want that. User can add their own comments to the checklist. No, I don't want that. Updates by students only. Yes. Add due dates to the calendar. Yes, I want to add due dates to the calendar. And this will populate the calendar event on our calendar. And we will add the calendar now. Okay. Teachers can add comments. Yes. Maximum grade is 100. Yes. Email when checklist is completed. Yes. To students or to teachers only, or to teachers and students. You can select whichever you want. Okay. Show course modules in checklist. Yes. The current section or the whole course. And you can specify here what you want to show in the checklist. Check off when modules complete. Yes. Okay. Lock teachers' marks. So if the mark is there, do you want to lock it? You can say yes. Common module settings, leave it on its default. Restrict access, leave it on its default. Activity completion, we don't want activity completion, so we don't want anything completed there. It should only update when the students complete the activity. Save and display. And then there's our checklist. As soon as we create activities within this course, it will populate all those activities, and you as soon as the student completes the activity, his percentage will increase. Okay, so that's the checklist. All right, so our next plugin will be our journal plugin. So I want learners to reflect on what they are doing in my course, so that's why I've added the journal plugin or the journal module, so where students can really reflect on what they struggled with, or what was difficult on the platform, or if they have any questions relating to the content they can really, and the journal is a private space for them, and only the student and the teacher sees the comments or anything they've added to the journal. So let's go to site administration and then plugins, install plugins, and then just drag and drop the journal activity or the journal module in the drop zone and install it. Go through the installation process, continue, and then upgrade to Moodle database now. Continue, and then if you want to show recent activities, yes, and then if you want to show journal overviews on my Moodle, say yes. Okay, so let's click on Save Changes, and there it's installed. Okay, so once it's installed, we can go to the course again and select the course, click on View, and now we can add an activity or resource, find the journal activity or the journal module that we've just installed. Here it is, click on it, and now we can specify a name. So this is my journal entries. Okay, let's scroll down. We can add some description for the students to read. We can even grade the journal, so we can tell students that we are going to grade the journal and the grade to pass may be a 5 or 4. We can restrict access to the journal, and the activity completion is show activity is complete, the student must view it, and the student must receive a grade. If you connect grades to the journal, it becomes meaningful, because then the student really uses the journal. You're actually forcing them to reflect on activities that they are doing on the platform, and this can become a percentage to their total or year mark. Okay, so let's click on Save and Display. So this will be the journal entry. Okay, if they want to start an entry, they can click on Start or Edit My Journal Entry, and here they can type or reflect on what they are struggling with, or what they are feeling, or what they I can type in here and then click on Save Changes, and once I've saved it, I can see there's one journal entry, and the teacher can click on this link here and see John Doe added this comment, and now the teacher can either grade this, or you can add some feedback for the student, and this feedback will immediately reflect on Jane or Jane Doe's profile. Okay, so save all my feedback, and there you'll see, so Jane provided feedback, and then the teacher provided feedback. Okay, and this is usually how the journal activity works. And so there's our journal entries. So we have our checklist, we have our journal entries, and we have our blocks. So you'll see immediately when you start adding activities, it will show up in the completion progress. If you click now on Overview of Students, you'll see there's my student Jane Doe, and there's a check mark, and there's actually 2 activities that are currently added to the course. And now I can see exactly who completed the activity and what percentage is still outstanding. Okay, let's go back. The next module or activity that we're going to add is an auto attendance. I want students, when they access my course, then auto attendance needs to be taken. So then at the end of the week, I can see exactly who attended the course and how regularly they attended my course. Okay, for that, I'll go to my plugins again, and I'll type in auto attendance. Click on search. And here you'll see there's the auto attendance block, and then the auto attendance module. We'll install both of these. You'll see once you click on one, if you scroll down, you'll see this is part of a set. Okay, so if you click on the set, you'll see both of them end up here. And now we can download them and install them. So my suggestion is first install the module and then install the block. Okay. But if you install the block first, it will ask you, Moodle will start grounding about the dependency. Okay, so let's download this and let's download that one. Okay, so let's go to our Moodle site and install this. Click on plugins, install plugins. So we'll install the module first. Continue. Scroll down, continue. And then upgrade Moodle database now. Click on continue. It's done. Again, we go to site administration and then plugins. And then install plugins. And then we will drag the block. Click on install plugins. Continue. Scroll down, click on continue. And then let's upgrade the database now. Click on continue. Okay, so here everything can be left on its default. We can click on save changes. Okay, so once we're done, we can now go to our course again, manage courses, and then our category, and then in our course. Click on view. Okay, so now we can add the module as well as the block. So let's add the module first. It will usually be A for auto attendance. So there we go. We'll click on that and we'll call this, let's call it the attendance block. Let's just copy this here and paste it there. Okay, we can have a description and we can allow the description to show in the course page. Okay, so now the options for auto attendance module. Okay, the management of usernames. Should it use the full name of the student or only the first name or the last name? Notification keywords to teachers. Enable email notification of attendant keywords to teachers. You can either enable or disable this. Notification results to teachers. Enable or disable. Notification to students. And then for homeroom module, permit access from homeroom module. I usually uncheck this. Use summertime. Use old Excel 2007 for downloading. Backup of attendance data. And then the feedback link. Okay. Then activity completion. I don't indicate activity completion. And then click on save and return to course. Okay, so there's my attendance. I can click on continue. Now we need to add the block. So let's just expand this drawer. Click on add block. And then we'll be searching for auto attendance block. We'll click on that. And then it will be added below. Usually I drag this up to the top. So let's drag this. You'll see you can drag this at the cross just next to the gear icon. Okay, so there we go. Oops, here we go. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so once you have added the attendance as well as the block, you can modify the block by clicking on the gear icon and just configuring it here. Okay, once you're done configuring it, let's click on save, and then you can click on attendance. But since we don't have any users, it's no use to set it up now. But for setting it up, we can click on add a session. Then we can click on it, we can select automatically or semi-automatically. I'll usually choose automatic because I don't want to come in manually every day and set dates. Okay, I can select create multiple sessions, or I can uncheck this only for one session or for one day. Okay, then I can specify the session start date and the session end date. Then I can specify the session days. Is it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or only Wednesday or Thursday, or only Tuesday and Friday? Is it only once a week, or should it be 8 times a week or 2 times a week? Then the start time and the duration. as well as the late time. So let's say I specify 10 minutes. If the student logs in and enters the course after 10 minutes, he'll be marked as late in my class. I can also specify some keywords here. I allowed IPs to access the class to end up in my attendance and so forth. So if I click now on add a session, it will add that session. There's no generated session. Okay, I can go to the report, and once the attendance is taken, the students' names will end up here. Their IDs also, it will show them that they're P for present, A for absent, and L for late. E and N is also settings, and we can go into the settings by clicking on class settings. You can see there's my classes. I can add groups, and if I click on grade settings, you'll see there my P is for present, my A is for absent, my L is for late, E is for early, G is for general, S is for special, and N is for not called. So I'll usually uncheck these because I don't want to show it up, allow it to show it up in my reports. I'll only focus on present, absent, and late. Okay, so I'll update that. And now when I go back to my report, you'll see that it only shows that present, absent, and late. Okay, I can also click on maintenance and return, and also the user list. I can see all my users in my course here and their absenteeism in my course. Okay, so that's the automatic attendance. Okay, so let's go back to site administration. Okay, so the next plugin we're going to install is focusing on reporting. Okay, so we can close this and this, go back to our Moodle's plugin directory, click on plugins, and then click on grades distribution. Okay, click on search. You'll see there's analytics and then there's grade distribution. We'll install both of these plugins. Okay, so let's click on analytics graph, download this, and then also grades distribution, and let's download this one. Okay, so let's install it and I'll show you how you can use those two plugins. Let's click on install plugins. We'll install the analytics block first. Click on install plugins. Click on continue. Scroll down and click on continue, and then upgrade Moodle database now. Click on continue. Okay, so now the second one. Again, let's go to site administration, plugins, install plugins, and then the grader report, install plugins, continue here, and just go through the process of installation. Upgrade, and then continue. Okay, so I'll leave everything on its default and I'll click on save changes. Okay, so let's look at what those two plugins does. Let's go to the course and let's add them to the course. Categories, and then our course name. Scroll down and click on view. Now let's add the block first. So let's expand the draw, click on add block. And remember that was analytics, so this is the analytics graph. Let's click on that. Scroll down, and what this does is it shows you a grades chart. So let's click on grades chart, and since we don't have any grades, the assessment lists or items will end up here. You can then add the assessment items, and then you can compare the different grades the students obtained. You can also export this to either PNG, JPEG, PDF, or Excel or CSV file. Okay, very useful tool. Let's close. You can also click on the content access, and this will provide you with a detailed view of who accessed the content. You can select the activities within your course, specify a date, and then click on build graph. this will actually select all the students and build a graph of all the students within who access those activities. And since I don't have any students, it won't show anything. I can also click on the number of activities of active students. So I don't have any students, so it won't show up. And then the hits distribution, who clicked on what. Okay. And I can also configure this. Okay, so that's my analytics graph, but we've also installed the grade distribution. And how do I access that? Okay, so let's close this. These are all the weeks in my course. Okay, so if I want to see my grades, I click on grades or reports. So if I click on grades, it will show me the grade book, all my activities, and the grades of the students. I can see here in my grader report, this is my grader report, and all my students will end up here, as well as the marks they obtained in an activity. But if I click on the drop-down list, you'll see there are grade distribution. If I click on that, it will show me all my students and the particular boundaries or the grades, A minus, B plus, all the lower boundaries, as well as the new lower boundaries, as well as the chart where the students are actually lying within those grades or grade letters. Okay, and I can actually download this as an Excel file. Okay, so where do I specify this? In the setup. Alright, so the next plugin we're going to install is our quiz analytics, and this is also really a useful plugin. So let's go to Moodle and let's type in quiz and click on search. Okay, we scroll down and you'll see we have the quiz analytics here. So I'll open this, and this is really a useful plugin. So if you scroll down, you'll see what you can actually do with this plugin. So you can see all the attempts, all the correct answers, as well as the partially correct and incorrect answers, which will be displayed in graphs. Then it also shows us the grade boundaries as well as the cutoff, and you can specify certain APIs which can tap into that. Then you can also see the scores by percentage. So you'll see here the number of students, 70 to 80, and there's 61 to 70. Again, you can also see the particular question analysis. So here's the different questions within a quiz, and also the marks, the number of attempts that the students attempted in all of these questions. So here you see question 1 with 2 attempts, then with 3 attempts, 4 attempts, okay, and so forth. You'll see which attempts were correct, incorrect, partially correct, and unattempted. Okay, and this will be the color coding. Okay, then you also have an improvement curve. So here you'll see the number of attempts and how it improved pertaining to the cutoff here. Okay, then you'll also see the user score. What was the best score? What was the average score and the lowest score? Okay, so you can really compare the student against his peers. Then you can also see the quiz name, then the number of attempts within that quiz, as well as when the student clicks on view analytics, he or she will see these type of analytics. Okay. Again, let's go further. Here you'll see that this graph shows you the student's last attempt, so the number of questions attempted, the number of questions correct, and the number of questions that were partially correct. And then for this is the total attempts. This actually looks at the questions, the difficulty level of the questions. Okay, so the number of attempts, and then the unsuccessful attempts. This one actually looks at the challenging categories of a particular student. Okay, so let's download this and let's go to our Moodle site. Let's go to site administration and then click on install or plugins and then install. And just drag that downloaded plugin in the upload area here and then click on install from zipped file, go through the installation process, continue, and then click on upgrade Moodle database now. Okay, so click on continue here. We'll leave everything on its default, and you can really take a look at that if you want to make changes. Okay, so that's done. So now let's go to our course. Go to manage courses and categories. I'll click on my category, then on my course, and then click on view. Once I'm here, I can click on grades. And now you'll see, once you click on the drop down list, you'll see you have your quiz analytics here. Once you click on that, you'll see, since we don't have any quizzes here, you'll see if we have quizzes here, it will end up here, and the student can go into the analytics and see the graphs and the comparison between him and his peers. Okay, so the next plugin we are going to install is currently already installed because it's a custom plugin that comes with the Moodle installation. So let's go to my draw here and add a block. And the block that we are going to add to this course or to the course template is the calendar. So let's click on calendar and then just move it up. So let's move it to the top. Okay, so there's my calendar. Okay, so basically what will happen here is you'll see it's the 28th today. What will happen is as soon as we start adding activities like quizzes or assignments that has due dates, it will populate a due date here, and the due date, the trigger will send out a reminder to students, and we'll install that plugin now. Okay, so but the important point is that the students can see the calendar. Certain dates will be highlighted depending on your due dates of your assignments or your quizzes, and then this will send out a reminder to students. And the next plugin that we're going to install is actually linked to the calendar. So let's go to the Moodle's plugin directory and type in events and then click on search. You'll see there's events reminder. Let's open this plugin, download it, and download it to your computer. Go back to your Moodle course, close this drawer, click on site administration, and then click on plugins, and let's install that events reminder. Okay, so we will drag it, we'll click install, continue. It's the same process when we install plugins. Click on continue and then scroll down and click on upgrade Moodle database now. Let's click on continue here. Okay, so here in the settings page, you can actually leave everything on its default. Okay, but you can read through it, scroll down, and then click on save changes. If you can see here, 3 days is checked, so reminders will be sent to the students 3 days ahead of time before the event occurs. Okay, let's click on save changes. Okay, so let's jump back to our course, manage courses, and then our category here and our course here, and then view. Okay, so how do you access that event reminder? Okay, so in your course, you can either go to settings or more, and you'll see here under reminders. Okay, so click on reminders, and here you'll see the activity event reminder, the course event reminder, and the group event reminder is enabled. Okay, so let's say within the course, I've created an assignment, and this is just a test. So let's add an activity. So let's add an assignment. Okay, so this is just a test assignment. Okay, let's scroll down. I can add some activity instructions. I can add some additional files, but here it's important. Allow submissions from, and it's today, the due date, as well as the cutoff date. And then let's change the cutoff date to the due date. So let's make this the 4th of November. Okay, that's okay. And then remind me to grade on the 10th. Okay. So once you've specified the dates, the allow submissions, the due date, and the cutoff date, okay, we can scroll down and then we can click on Save and Display. Remember, this is only a test, so I just want to show you the actual event reminders. Okay, so let's go to the course again. So you'll see there's my assignment. If we go to the draw, you'll see that my completion progress is now updated. There are 2 activities. Okay. So there's my journal, and there should be my test assignment. Okay. Then go back to the course. If I now click on more and then reminders, you'll see there the assignment that I've created. Its due date, and then it's enabled. When will it send out reminders? 3 days ahead of time. Again, on the 10th of November, 3 days, okay, for the grading, when the grading is due. So this will go out to the teacher, and this will go out to the student, okay? And let's see what's happening on my calendar. So if you look now at, go to your calendar. So you'll see the 4th is highlighted there. So if you hover over it, if the student hovers over it, they can see that there's a test assignment due. They can click on it, and it will provide them with a detailed description of what's actually happening on that particular date. Okay, we can go back to the course, and this is actually what the calendar as well as the calendar event does. Okay, so let's delete this because I've just shown you as an example. Okay, also within my gradebook, before I use this template for all other courses, I need to check my gradebook. So let's click on grades, and then under grader report, let's click on gradebook setup. I need to make sure that since users won't be obtaining scores or marks for the checklist, okay? So, the weighting here should change, okay? I'd rather allow them to do the assignment and receive a weighting for the assignment or for the journal or whatever activity, but the activities that I want to exclude, okay, I should remove the weighting here. Otherwise, it will count for the course total. Okay, so I'll remove that and make it 0, and then I'll save it. So you'll now see immediately when I remove that weighting, it will update the course total, and it will only use weighting for the journal. Okay, and this we can change later on within the courses. Okay, we'll save it, then go back to our course.